Hey guys, how you doing? Right, I'm just looking at the stars and I hope you can hear me, there's a load of music in the background, but I want to talk about the stars quickly and tell you how fucking amazing something is. Right above me is three stars, okay? Orion's belt. No matter where you are in the world, you can always see these three stars. Just look up and I seem to be able to see them. If I want to feel grounded, I look up, I see them, I feel grounded. Even though the Earth's spinning below my feet, I feel grounded. But here's the incredible thing. Those stars are 1,000 light years away from Earth. That is, if we travelled at the speed of light for 1,000 years, we would reach, just think how far away that is, right? Now, we see them really clearly, these tiny little dots. I think they're like 1 pixel in our eye. Like, apparently it's about 1 photon we're seeing, right? Of trillions of photons, obviously. Now, those three stars are around 1,000 light years apart. So to go from one of the stars to the other one, they have no exoplanets that we know of, but to go from one to the other, if you travel at the speed of light, it will take you 1,000 years. So these tiny little things that we look up at, that look like a fingernail's distance apart from each other, are 1,000 light years apart from each other. I mean, is that not just incredible? I mean, if you ever get bored, just go outside and look, like turn your phone off, look up and just think about the magnitude of that, right? That star, or one of those three stars, is 300,000 or 400,000 times brighter than the sun. This one photon hitting your eye that just looks like a little dot up there is 300,000 or 400,000 times brighter than our sun. You can fit 15 billion Earths in one of those stars. 15 billion. I might give another perspective on this. I might say, okay, this is the science perspective. Do you know what? I'm going to give the science perspective now, and then I'm going to give the conspiratorial perspective, okay? Okay, these three stars up there. Copernicus once said, when you see the sun set and the sun rise, you're not seeing the Earth move around the sun. You are seeing the Earth spin. So the Earth spins at 1,200 miles an hour, like this, right? Earth spins like this. That's when you see the sun going up and down. It's actually us moving. Although the sun's obviously moving, that's us moving. We then orbit around the sun at about 667,000 kilometers an hour, something like this. That's how fast we spin around the sun. But because there's no air, no oxygen in space, we don't feel it, right? Same as when an astronaut gets off of the ISS, you watch a video and he's not moving. It looks like the wind's not blowing him back because there's no wind, there's no oxygen, right? There's no particles in space that we know of, right? So then you've got the moon. The moon, they used to call a month a moon because it takes a month for the moon to go around the Earth. So you've got the moon spinning around the Earth. The moon is a quarter the size of the Earth. You've got the Earth spinning around the sun at 667,000 miles or kilometers an hour. And then the Earth, you can fit 1 million Earths into the sun. But no one really talks about the sun is also orbiting. The sun is also orbiting around the center of the Milky Way. I think it's Sagittarius A, double check, but it's the black hole in the middle of the Milky Way. The sun is orbiting around that. So you've got all this craziness going on, right, around us that we can't feel, right? And the sun is spinning, orbiting around the center of the Milky Way. But these three little stars up above that are in a perfectly straight line are, they are in a perfectly straight line. They are 300,000 or 400,000 times brighter than the sun. You can fit 15 billion Earths inside them. And you look up and they just look like little dots. I mean, it's just fucking incredible. It's honestly, the other day I was thinking about it a couple of nights ago here on the beach. And I was literally just like, my head's blown away when I sit and think about it. Okay, so the last thing to mention before I go into the crazy conspiratorial, potentially like, and it's not conspiracy, it's just thinking, a thought experiment, okay? So the Earth is 4 times bigger than the moon. The sun is 1 million times bigger than the Earth. So the sun is 4 million times bigger than the moon, which you can't see right now because the clouds are there, right? The sun is 4 million times bigger than the moon. You could fit 4 million moons into the sun volumetrically. The Earth's 109. The sun you can the width of the sun's 109 times wider than the diameter of the Earth, but you can fit 4 million moons into the volume, 3D volume of the sun. However, when it has a eclipse, when the Earth goes behind the sun, and you have what's called a neap tide, or forget the name, but when you have an eclipse, the sun and the moon look exactly the same size, even though the sun is, depending on its elliptical orbit, between 90 and 150 million kilometers away, and the moon is 300,000 kilometers away, which is 10 Earth circumferences away. So the moon's really close. It's 300,000 kilometers away. It's really close. It's like a day or two away on a spaceship, right? The sun's 100 million, let's just call it 100 million kilometers away. So many magnitudes of time further away, right? And 4 million times bigger. But when they eclipse, they're exactly the same size. Now, I get if the sun was 4.5 million times bigger and maybe 200 million, kilometers away, the size would still look the same. But how weird is it? They're exactly the same size. I'd love to know, because there's actually not that many moons around Jupiter, around Saturn, around all these other planets that only see the dark side of the moon. There are some, but I don't think there's many. But I know that our moon is unique in many ways. Wow, 6.5 minutes. Okay, I need to speed this up a little bit. But the craziness of it to me is just insane. That something 4 million times bigger and they're exactly the same size when they're lined up, right? Okay. So, one sec. Now, just taking all that into account, let's go back to the 3 stars. They're in a perfect line. They look like they're in a perfect line. Let's take the conspiratorial view. How can this be possible? How can the gravity of the center of the Milky Way, which is a black hole, keep the Earth spinning around, keep the sun spinning around it at 1% the speed of light, something like 600,000 kilometers an hour a second? How can the sun be moving through space, orbiting the Milky Way, the center of the black hole of the Milky Way, moving through space, forever expanding at 1%, 1/100th the speed of light, and then around the sun we are spinning? It's called heliocentrism or heliocentric orbit. We are spinning at 667,000 miles or kilometers an hour, I can never remember which. And then the moon is spinning around us, and then we are spinning at 1,200 miles an hour. I mean, and then you've got these 3 little dots up there that are 300,000 or 400,000 times more powerful than the sun, and you can fit 15 billion Earths into one of those stars. Ah, man. I tell you, I'm not scared of getting old, because I can just think about this stuff forever. Is it not just mind-boggling? Is it just me? Am I crazy? Or is this just the most insane concoction? Or is it just a water? Someone explained to me once, a real conspiracy theorist, Justin. Really, I love chatting to him because he makes me think. But maybe it's just like, maybe he's right, and it's just some dome or whatever, ether, or I can't remember what he calls it. But these like he said, they're like candles in water. Because I get that when I look at that, you're not, if anything's close, you're going to see it. If anything's further away, you're not going to see it. So obviously there's trillions and infinite number more stars that are further away that I can't see. But how can I see these 3 that are perfectly in line just up there, and they're 400,000 times brighter than the sun? I mean, you must be bored. I've just looked 9 minutes, but this stuff is mind-boggling to me. And I just think it's like natural fireworks. If you're ever bored, go outside, look at the sun, look at the moon. The moon's fascinating to me. It's just there. I can't believe we've not been there more. I'll leave it to you to ponder and think about. Cheers, big ears.